Brambleghast is a unique Generation 9 Pokemon with access to the ability Wind Rider, which makes it immune to all classified wind moves, as well as gets a +1 attack for each wind move that it gets hit by, while being immune to the damage. It is a Pokemon that has seen some competitive play, but it has really picked up in Regulation D thanks to all the wind moves that are running around, including from the Genies alongside the Chi-Yu Heat Wave, the Icy Winds that are running around. We're going to be trying out this team that was created by the 2017 World Champion Ryota and see how well it performs. This is Ryota's HO Tailwind team with Brambleghast. The idea of the team is simple: to abuse really fast offensive combinations with the Speed Booster Flutter Mane and the Specs Chi-Yu alongside Tailwind Tornadus with Sunny Day for support. Then you have the Brambleghast, which is really good in the mirror, being able to be immune to all of the heat waves, the bleak wind storms, the icy winds, all other forms of speed control, which is really nice, and also gets the attack boost with the tailwind support from Tornadus. It Gyarados with Intimidate, using it as a pivot for the frail physically defensive Pokemon in the Flutter Mane Chi-Yu, and then Iron Hands as a Pokemon that's able to have fake out support and do a pretty solid amount of damage that can take hits from the team. If you would like to check out the details of the team and the creator, they will be linked in the description. Iron Hands, Tornadus, Gastrodon, Brute, Bonnet, the Heatran, and the Flutter Mane. Okay, so this is actually a really good matchup for my Brambleghast. Brambleghast actually does really well against this team. It's basically walls the Tornadus. The Bonnet could be the scariest part about this team. The Heatran, we should be able to wall unless this one carries Flamethrower over Heat Wave. Flutter Mane can get threatened by Shadow Sneak, so we have a lot of good potential right here. I do want to lead, I think, straight away. I could go with my Tornadus. I don't have to, though. I do like Gyarados a lot here. Gyarados is pretty good. Iron Hands is pretty good. I do like the Brambleghast. Flutter Mane's also not a bad option. Tornadus is still really strong, so got quite a few options. I think I want to probably just go with Iron Hands immediately. Iron Hands Gyarados doesn't seem too bad against this team. Gets the Intimidate off, a good amount of damage. I like the Flutter Mane in the back, and then I like the Brambleghast. I think this is a really strong combination. I can't really see much that stops it here. And I just have like the Brambleghast is a switch in, so if they want to go for like Bleak Wind immediately or Heat Waves, I just switch out a Brambleghast, be immune to it, get the free attack boost, and then Flutter Mane's going to be threatened. So my main goal really is just to slow down the opponent's Bonnets and Iron Hands with Intimidate and try to get rid of try to chip the Flutter Mane as much as possible while seeing if I can handle the Bonnet. Heatran Tornadus is an interesting lead. I wonder what this is going to be. Okay. So Heatran plus Tornadus. All right, I could have let Brambleghast, but it's okay here. Got a few options. I don't know if they're going to Tailwind right away or if they're going to go for a Bleak Wind straight up. I could just go hard into my Brambleghast, which isn't a bad option, and I'm thinking about it. And I don't mind it, really. It's able to put on a lot of pressure, so thinking about Heavy Slamming the Torn. Heavy Slam the Torn for some damage. I could see Gastrodon coming in for that slot as well. I think I just want to get a Drain Punch off into maybe like the Heatran, get some chip, and bring out my Brambleghast, because I think Gastrodon's a really safe switch for the Torn if they have it, but it looks like we're not going to see the switch out from the Torn. If it Tailwinds or Bleak Winds, that's okay as well. So we'll bring out our Brambleghast. Let's find out what they're going to click. Nasty Plot. Okay. Not expecting that one. They do go for the Heat Wave, so I do get the attack boost, which is nice from Wind Rider. Okay. Iron Hands takes that extremely well. No burn, thankfully. Get a Drain Punch off. A huge amount of damage to that Heatran. That Heatran is now in range of the Shadow Sneak, which is great. Okay, fantastic. And I can wall charge the Torn and protect my Brambleghast because I want to scout for if this is a Dark Pulse or something crazy from this Tornadus. Because if you're going for a Nasty Plot, I have a feeling you have some move that can hit the Brambleghast, because I don't think you would set it up otherwise. Torn protects, okay. Maybe scanning for my protect, smart. So we'll protect our Brambleghast. Are they going to get chip damage on the Iron Hands with the Heatran? Let's see. Earth Power into Iron Hands. Okay, smart. No special defense drop. Really good, really good, really good. Are you Focus Sash Torn? I guess that's a big question. I have no clue, but I do want to Shadow Sneak the Heatran, I guess, now. That was a really good protect play. I guess we'll find out together. I don't really want to commit Terra into Brambleghast when I think I could use that Terra for something better. I don't think this is a bad trade-off, like getting a big wall charge off in a Torn. And then both of these Pokemon are vulnerable to my Flutter Mane afterwards. So I don't think it's awful, but we'll see. We're going to see a Terra come out. All right, this is Terra Torn. What's coming out for the Terra? It's going to be Terra Flying. Okay. Is that so it can knock out Iron Hands? I have no idea if you do knock out Iron Hands. We'll find out together, I suppose. Shadow Sneak going to eliminate the Heatran. Okay, so we got rid of it. I guess I could just Shadow Sneak, but they might have been trying to get a free switch in, so maybe it was just better to leave it at this point. Liquid Storm, so I get another +1 in attack. Okay. They do hit the Iron Hands. This is +2. I don't know if we'd live this. Probably not. Oh, wow. We do actually live it. That's a pretty huge survival, actually. Because getting a wall charge off into the Tornadus, it is Focus Sash, but it is in range of Shadow Sneak, so very, very acceptable here. If it is bonded in the back, it has to Rage Powder, so I'm gladly take this trade here. But I can just go out in a Flutter Mane. Flutter Mane's a very safe position. So we can go out in a Flutter Mane here with the Speed Booster. We should be able to threaten everything. We also threaten their own Flutter Mane because we can Shadow Sneak it. They're going to go into Iron Hands, but this is perfect because we do have a Flutter Mane that is just here and super safe. And the Brambleghast kind of just was here. The Brambleghast kind of just was here. There really is not much they can do. I can Shadow Sneak Protect. I don't think, unless you have some kind of crazy tech on the Iron Hands like Fire Punch, I should be good here to just Shadow Sneak the Torn and pick up the knockout in a Torn. Not have to worry about the Iron Hands at all. They could get Tailwind up if they do have Tailwind. Maybe this is like Tailwind, Nasty Pop, Bleak Wind, Storm Protect, which is actually like a really cool set. But I'm pretty sure that I feel very safe in this position. They protect Torn. They could Volt Switch, but I don't really feel like they gain too much out of it. So we'll protect the Flutter Mane because they're just not getting any damage in the Brambleghast. Let's see. Gonna be the Shadow Sneak and Protect. Is this Heavy Slam in the Brambleghast? Which would probably do an okay amount of damage. I actually don't know how much damage it would do. They go for a Wall Charge, so yeah, that's nowhere near any damage. They get hit by the Rocky Helmets. I can just Strength Stat that Iron Hands if I want to, and I think I will. I'm just gonna go for a Moonblast. I could Icy Wind greed this, but I really don't see a reason to go for an Icy Wind. Shadow Ball or Moonblast always better. Moonblast is always better. Covers more switches. And let's Strength Sap the Iron Hands. That was gonna be forfeit. They cannot touch the Brambleghast. And that's the thing. Like their entire lead, and then they had Iron Hands in the back. They were committing to this strategy, I guess, with the Torn with Nasty Plot, but what are you gonna do against the Brambleghast? I have no clue what they were trying to build up for. Flutter Mane, but they gave me the boost because I switched it on the Heat Wave, and then they were forced to click Bleak Wind to even KO the Iron Hand so they could keep the Torn. They just committed too much. Did not work out for them. Rillaboom or Shifu, Basculegion, Heatran, and Namor Slowbro. This is a really cool team. Is that Darker Shifu? Because they would have triple water types otherwise, and I feel like it's most... Darker Shifu is scary because it actually does threaten my Brambleghast, so something I'm gonna have to keep in mind. Springtide Storm, it is a special move, but I don't know if they're running Moonblast or Dazzling Gleam here in this case, so that's something I'm gonna have to keep in mind. In I do like Flutter Mane. Rillaboom does put on a lot of, actually Chiyu does put on a lot of pressure here, huh? I do like Chiyu. It does threaten a lot of damage. Do I like Flutter Mane? It's useful for the Shifu, but it's not really otherwise. I like Chiyu plus maybe the Iron Hands lead, Brambleghast in the back, and the Gyarados. Flutter Mane's not too bad. Tornadus can do things, but I'm not 100% certain because there is a Trick Room element. I think I'll pass on it. This is a really interesting matchup, I will say. The Slowbro plus the Anonymous does seem pretty cool as a combination. Let's see if they are going to go for a Trick Room route immediately. Basculegion with adaptability. I think it has to be Darker Shifu. I just can't see Water Shifu on this team. I don't see triple water happening here, but maybe it will be. If it's Water Shifu, I will gladly take it, but very likely going to be the Darker Shifu, and that's what I'm prepping for. I don't want to bring Flutter Mane because the problem with Flutter Mane is I could go down to like Terra Dark Sucker Punch, I'm pretty sure, and also it doesn't really play super defensively, like really well against my opponents. So we're gonna see the Rillaboom and the Slowbro against my Chi-Yu Iron Hands. Now, this is a pretty good combination for me. I can just threaten with Snarl. I'm always gonna click Snarl because I don't want the Rillaboom coming in. So I'm just gonna click Fake Out into the Slowbro and a Snarl. If they go for Fake Out, we're trading Fake Outs. That's completely okay. And if they go in a Heatran for one of the slots to Fake Out my Iron Hands, that's okay as well because I get the Snarl off in the Heatran. That's pretty big damage. So I don't imagine they're just gonna... I imagine this is just gonna be a Fake Out trade, or they're just not gonna let the... Okay, a Terra immediately. All right, what's coming out? Slowbro Terra into Fairy. Okay. So we reveal Fairy Terra on the Slowbro. Trying to think about how that changes too much. Not really. Let's see who they faked out. They faked out the Iron Hand. So they were covering for Dark Pulse. Okay, so this is their way of avoiding the Heat Wave, I guess. Maybe they didn't bring the Heatran. Is Snarl going to come out? Pretty big damage into the Rillaboom. They get some pretty nice damage into the Slowbro with the special attack decrease as well. And we're going to see Trick Room come out, which I don't think is a bad decision for me. Now, I do have Heavy Slam. I have no idea how much Heavy Slam does to Slowbro or the Rillaboom here. I like the idea of just swapping out the Chi-Yu though. I think Chi-Yu could go out into my Brambleghast very safely, and I think I want to go out for the Heavy Slam and try to read an Enamorous switch potentially, because I don't think Jen could come out, but I just don't see it. I don't know if I want to target down the Rillaboom, if I want to target down the Slowbro. I think I'm just going to target down the Slowbro. Looks like no switches. They might be hard U-turning, which is fine too, but we'll see. Bring out the Brambleghast, a threat. A Heal Pulse to Rillaboom. Smart. Okay. So I'm kind of glad I'm Heavy Slamming the Slowbro because getting rid of Slowbro is a pretty big factor. Here comes a Heavy Slam. Very nice damage into Slowbro. And it's a berry too. Jeez, this Slowbro. I thought it might be Rocky Helmet on the team, but all right. Citrus Berry goes for Stormy Tantrum, so we do get something right here. Yeah, that's pretty good. So now we can double up the Slowbro pretty safely with Heavy Slam Power Whip and get rid of it, which I do kind of like because I don't expect them to be able to threaten the knock on Brambleghast at -1 special attack. So I'm gonna double up the Slowbro with Heavy Slam Power Whip now. I can leave the Rillaboom alone because I don't think like it's too threatening overall, especially because they're wasting their turns of Trick Room. This was the second turn of Trick Room that just passed by, so we're on the third. And if they want to get momentum, they have to go out and switch out for the fourth. So yeah, it's not really too bad. I am going to be able to get a Heavy Slam off into the Slowbro. Very nice. And a U-turn is going to come out. So they're trying to get momentum and trying to get a free switch probably into, I'd imagine, is going to be the Enamorous coming out. But it's all right here. Be Enamorous, right? Yeah. Okay. And once we get rid of their Trick Room setter, then they're kind of on a timer because they can't reset it. We do connect the Power Whip, so we are able to knock out the Slowbro. Excellent. So Slowbro is eliminated. All right. So the question is, I need Chi-Yu. I think Gyarados is the most expendable. The problem is I do have to make sure that I have an answer to the Urshifu still healthy. So Iron Hands is going to be my key here. Are they going to go hard in Urshifu? I doubt it. No, they shouldn't go harder, Urshifu. I wonder if this has Terra Blast and Enamorous, but then actually no, they Terra the Slowbro, so I don't have to worry about Terra flying. So that's actually really good. Really, I'm gonna come back in. Okay. How many turns? 2 turns of the Trick Room. I think I'm just gonna protect and I'm gonna swap out. I'm gonna go out into my Gyarados and get an Intimidate off, which should be good. Gyarados has really good special defense, so we should be able to live Moonblast, Spring-Tide Storm, whatever they really want to throw out. This could be just a fake out into the Iron Hands and a target into Brambleghast, which I'm fine with as well. I want to save the Iron Hands because I think it's pretty crucial. Again, I think my biggest loose con on their team is their Urshifu, so I think preserving it is really key. So we'll protect our Brambleghast, as we're gonna see fake out gonna come out into the Iron Hands like we thought, and a Dazzling Gleam, which is okay. So I don't think this is Spring-Tide Storm on their team, which is nice. Okay, Gyarados takes it. And then once we get Chi-Yu in, I think that's where it's going to have a really fun time. I'm going to Shadow Sneak their Enamorus, and I'm going to get a Dragon Dance off. Or should I just Waterfall and get some chip? Waterfall getting some chip isn't a bad idea here. How cautious do I have to play Velasquez Specs in game though? Potentially. But I don't think they can knock out the Brambleghast unless they Moonblast commit. So I think I'm just going to go for damage actually. Yeah, I'll just get some damage. Shadow Sneak gonna come out, get some chip into Enamorus. Not bad damage. We're gonna see. Oh, that's Rocky Helmet, which is very surprising actually. Dazzling Gleam gonna come out. Not gonna be able to pick up a knockout into Eater. I get Strength Sap the Rillaboom to get health back, so this is still a really good situation. And Wood Hammer gonna come out in Gyarados. That should clean it up. Yep, okay. But at this point, like, Chi-Yu comes in, it's clicking Heat Wave. Feeling like I'm in a pretty good spot regardless, so. The only problem is the Dazzling Gleams are going to do a lot, but I'm not really worried about their Heatran, I think. Grassy Terrain disappears. We're going to go out into our Chi-Yu. I should be able to knock out Enamorus, I think, with Overheat. It specs Overheat, so I feel like I should be able to knock out the Enamorus with Overheat, and I'd rather go for the Overheat. You know what? I'm going to Strength Sap, get the max health I can from the Rillaboom, and I'm going to Overheat the Enamorus. Because I think picking up that knockout would be really huge. If I can get rid of Enamorus, my Iron Hands has a lot more freedom. So we're going to see the Rillaboom retreat. This might be Heatran? Basculegion, okay. I mean, he would have done a lot of damage, so I'm kind of surprised they went hard Basculegion, but it still works out because I get a Strength Sap off into Basculegion, and they stayed in with the Enamorus, and Overheat just nukes the Enamorus. Perfect. Perfect. That's absolutely ideal. Is the Strength Sap going to come out into the Basculegion? And now that Basculegion being at -1, that's a pretty big deal. So we're able to heal back all that juicy HP right here. Yep. Okay. -1 Basculegion. Rillaboom coming in. I'm kind of curious on who is going to be faster between the Basculegion and the Brambleghast. I imagine the Brambleghast should be, but I have no clue. My best play is probably to go for a Power Whip into the Basculegion, Hard Swap into Iron Hands. Yeah, I like this play. I'll gamble with the Power Whip. Sure, it's not super ideal. I think I just have to hit one inaccurate move anyway for this endgame to really work out. So I'm going to go Iron Hands. I'm expecting Fake Out into Chi-Yu. I go for the Power Whip into the Basculegion because that's the biggest offensive threat. If I get rid of it, I win the game instantly. If not, it could get a little bit complicated. We'll see how the remainder of this game goes. We do connect the Power Whip though, so Brambleghast is going to clutch it out here. Knock out the Basculegion. Oh man, it's so good. So good. Okay. And now we should be able to win because now we could just like Fake Out, Strength Sap the Rillaboom, just bring out the Chi-Yu. I just don't think the Rillaboom can even handle my Brambleghast. Actually, no, I'm going to Fake Out Shadow Sneak first. Yeah, Fake Out Shadow Sneak first. Get the chip. Battle's going to be forfeit anyway. They can't really beat the Brambleghast. And yeah, secures that win. Zapdos, Fluttermane, Chi-Yu, Landorus Varian, Tornadus, I couldn't even remember for some reason, and Urshifu. All right, how do I want to approach this one? Because they have Heat Wave Chi-Yu, but they could also have other fire moves. They also have dark moves that can cover for Brambleghast, but I do like the immunity to just Bleak Wind Storm, Icy Wind, dark move, and also I'd imagine it's Water Urshifu on this team. Maybe it could be dark. I'd imagine it's Water Urshifu on this team, but I guess it could be dark theoretically. I don't know if I've seen a team like this with dark Urshifu. I might have. Overall, how do I want to approach this? Fluttermane Chi-Yu mirrors are just weird. That's really all I can really say. I think I want to go with Tornadus plus the Chi-Yu. I think it's generally pretty good. Do I want Gyarados? Gyarados is really good. Oh man, there's so many things I want here. There's so many things that I want. If they go Tornadus, I think I want to go... Like, I imagine they're going to just lead their own Tornadus. I don't think you ever lead Fluttermane Chi-Yu into a mirror with Tornadus. I just don't think it's really that feasible. I kind of want to go with Chi-Yu and Gyarados, actually. I want Chi-Yu, Gyarados, try it out. And then Brambleghast and Fluttermane in the back. I want to try this because I don't really like the thing about Tornadus is it doesn't do that much against this team. Icy Wind Fluttermane actually does really well with the speed booster once if I can stall out their Tailwind, and I think I can with decent especially defensive Pokemon alongside the Brambleghast that has some immunities. We'll see if it works out. If it does, we're in a really great position, but I just don't like the Tailwind mirror. Hey, let Fluttermane cheat you. All right, I think Gyarados plus Chi-Yu. All right. I'm kind of curious on what their Fluttermane's gonna click. Gleam's gonna do a lot of damage. Their booster energy. I can't believe they led this into potential Torn stuff. Special attack booster. Okay, so it's not Specs. It's not Specs. I don't know if they even knock out Chi with Moonblast with Terra. I do want to just protect Snarl, I think, because I can get a Dragon Dance up afterward. And Dragon Dance safely is probably super ideal. Or do I want Dragon Dance now? It's not too bad if I Dragon Dance now. But the problem is if they double up into Gyarados and I lose the Gyarados, I think I'd rather just protect and Snarl. We're going to see that Chi-Yu actually switch out, which is interesting. Going to go out into... What is that? Zapdos. Okay. So they're probably targeting Chi-Yu then with the Flutter. All right. They do go for the Terra Fairy. I could have went for Overheat, but I really wanted a safer position. This should still be okay if I do survive one. Oh yeah, I'll definitely live one if it's Terra Water. Okay, so they were trying to cover for the Overheat from Chi-Yu, which makes sense. Okay, that's actually really good for me. So I am going to be protecting the Gyarados, but they're most likely just Moonblasting a Chi-Yu. Maybe they're going for Dazzling Gleam. That could also be a play here. That's a slow Flutter. Oh, was this Trick Room Flutter? They're bluffing it, I think. Yeah, I think they're bluffing. They have Thunderbolt. Okay. Go for the Gyarados. I was not anticipating this turn of events, but it worked out perfectly. I get a Snarl off, and I'm going to go out into my Brambleghast, I suppose, because once these Pokemon take another Snarl, they're going to be in Shadow Sneak range, so I might as well. It worked out way better than I thought. They've also used their Terra. I'm in a really good offensive position. Snarl going to come out again. Now they're -2 special attack. Both of their Pokemon are super low right now. Fantastic. Dazzling Gleam going to come out, but it's -2 special attack. They crit me. Oh, come on, man. Why'd you crit? All right, what does the Zapdos have? It just Thunderbolts, okay? You can't be serious, man. You can't be serious. I'm okay with the crit because I got a free Dragon Dance and a Snarl assuming a hit, but did you really have to get the... Oh my goodness. Why? Why? Fluttermane. They really had to get the crit on the Brambleghast and the para on my Chi-Yu. Literally anything else was fine. Literally one of the two is okay, right? But losing both sucks. Because at least Shadow Sneak pressured, so even though I couldn't get a double knockout, Shadow Sneak at least pressured one KO and I could follow up the other. Losing both is so bad. Alright, let's see if we can win. I want to protect the Fluttermane. Oh! Okay, wait, can I win this? I can win this, I guess. Depends on heavily on their back, but I guess it's winnable. It is a winnable game still. I can't believe what's been going on, man. Gonna Waterfall to Fluttermane. I'm gonna Icy Wind. Icy Wind needs to KO the Zapdos and hit the Fluttermane so I can outspeed it and Waterfall to Falling Turn. Then I can Icy Wind Waterfall to Chi-Yu, assuming it's not a Scarf variant, and then whatever the last Pokemon is, hope that Gyarados can beat it. They retreat to Fluttermane, which makes sense. They're -2 special attack. This is the... Oh, they went hard Chi-Yu. That's greedy. Okay. That works out really well for me, actually. Okay, I do hit the Zapdos and the Chi-Yu, which is actually really nice. So I do get rid of the Zapdos. Waterfall going to come out into the Chi-Yu. It really depends on... I have Speed Booster on my Flutter. And they're really slow Flutter. So I'm kind of curious if they even outspeed my Flutter. Ooh, that Chi-Yu survived a Waterfall. Okay, that's a bulky Chi-Yu. Or Shifu coming out. All right. Darker Shifu. I'm just gonna waterfall and I'm gonna go for the Terra. And I'm gonna Moonblast the Urshifu. Yeah. Because if it's Focus Sash on the what's it called? If it's Focus Sash or Shifu, it shouldn't be able to pick up the knockout into either of my Pokemon. Although I guess if it's Sash, it's still kind of bad. We'll see. I do want to Moonblast and Terra Fairy to make sure I'm not vulnerable to the Wicked Blow. Here goes a Moonblast into the... Man, you had to be Sash on that one. Okay, that makes it complicated. I might have to live Wicked Blow in this Sucker Punch, which is not ideal. But I mean, it is a weak Wicked Blow. Oh, no, we're completely fine. Okay. That did a lot less than I was expecting. Here goes a Waterfall into the Chi-Yu to pick up the knockout. Beautiful. I want to bank on the Icy Wind. After how lucky my opponent is, I might be playing a bit too risk adversive. I really just want to click Moonblast and a Flutter and Waterfall or Dragon Dance. I think I'd rather Dragon Dance. Yeah, I'm gonna Dragon Dance actually. I'm gonna Dragon Dance and Moonblast because I think their play might be to protect. I wish I had Dazzling. Well, actually, no. Icy Wind did kind of save me. I think I'm just gonna Moonblast the Flutter and Dragon Dance to cover for protect and close combat into the Gyarados. Okay, so they don't protect at all. If they protected, it depended on A, if Urshifu knocked out the Flutter, because Wicked Blow does less than close combat. So close combat does more damage to Flutter. If it picks up the knockout, then I just basically need Waterfall into Flutter. Hope they don't get double protect. They had Poison Jab. All right. So they didn't have Sucker Punch. Okay. I went for Dragon Dance because it covered for... Because I felt like if I Dragon Dance... Because like if I Waterfall to Urshifu and I Moonblast and they are able to knock out the Flutter like they did, I do lose the game. So I'd rather have like Dragon Dance so I outspeed their Flutter the following turn. And I know that Urshifu can't pick up the knockout on Gyarados in one shot. So... Especially with the Citrus Berry on deck. So I felt like the Dragon Dance was necessary. Otherwise, I could have just went for Icy Wind Waterfall, but I do have to hit both Icy Winds, and after like the luck with the parry and crit, I think I'll pass on taking that one. But yeah, we somehow clawed that one out. Tornadus or Shifu Fluttermane Chi-Yu into the Regidrago. Now the Regidrago is pretty scary, but otherwise pretty much what you would expect from a Tailwind team. How do I want to approach this? I do like the Tornadus overall. I do like the Chi-Yu offensively. I think I need Fluttermane, and I think I need Brambleghast. I'm not a huge fan of Iron Hands too much in this matchup. I also don't really like the Gyarados because there's only one physical attacker on the team, and that mon is a crit machine. This might be Darker Shifu or Water Shifu. Darker Shifu is actually going to be kind of complicated. If it's Water Shifu, which I'm hoping it is, makes it a lot easier in my case. I think the biggest Pokemon that I do have to respect is going to be that Regidrago. Regidrago is just a really good offensive Pokemon. Let's see. Trying to figure out what they could lead. I'm thinking if they lead Torn or Shifu. It depends heavily on their Shifu, because if they lead Torn or Shifu, I'm just hard switching to Brambleghast and probably clicking Bleak Wind or Tailwind. But let's find out. It could go really bad for me, however. Let's just see. We're going to see the lead of Chi-Yu Torn. Okay. So we kind of had the same idea. Chi-Yu Torn versus Chi-Yu Torn. Not too surprising. How do I exactly want to approach this? I do have Mental Herb, so I don't have to worry about Taunt. I could go for the Bleak Wind, or I can go for the Tailwind. Probably just a Tailwind, realistically. I think Tailwind's probably better. I could also Protect. Protect isn't too bad here, I guess. If they're Terra Water, that's going to stink for me. But you know what? I'm going to Protect Torn. I'm just going to go for a Snarl. Because if they want to Tailwind immediately, that's okay too. So let's find out. It is going to be Tailwind does come out, so I can get an extra turn Tailwind, which is nice. Let's see what the Chi-Yu locks itself into. Going to be... They also have Snarl, which makes sense. Okay, so they're going to get a pretty powerful Snarl into my Chi-Yu, and then we're going to match... Yeah, okay, so they don't want to lock in a Heat Wave against a super big threat. Okay, we do hit both. I was a little bit suspicious if we missed. That's Covert Cloak Torn. Good to know. We're going to Tailwind and we're just going to click Snarl. Finding these Pokemon in the Shadow Sneak range is still pretty solid for me. We lower the Chiyu's special attack output by 2. They're going to go for the Taunt. I do have the Mentaler for a reason, so this ends up working out really well for me. So I know that I can always get another Tailwind up and get a later Tailwind, which means that I have 1 extra turn. So that's going to be pretty big in this matchup. We are able to get that Tailwind set up. And Snarl going to come out. I keep thinking we're missing, but we're not. Okay, so we do hit the Snarl once again. Covert Cloak Torn, I don't know if it's bulky or not. It's going to be a big question. They don't really do that much damage with their Chi, which is nice. We're going to go for Bleakwind and Snarl again. There's not really any reason not to go for this combination. So we're going to go for Bleakwind and Snarl and just do as much damage as we possibly can. Putting them in a range of potentially Flutter Mane Moonblast. The Torn looks like... it depends on the bulk on the Torn because I have no clue if that's bulky Torn or not because we're already -1 special attack. But I want to say the Torn has... I want to say our Torn will probably be faster. I think this Covert Cloak one is probably bulkier, but I have no clue. I really don't. Let's just get a Snarl off and a Bleakwind Storm. Get some pretty decent damage. They don't have the best switch-ins. They could swap out the Torn to try to preserve Tailwind so they can get it up later in the game, but I just don't know. Oh, they do have a faster Torn. Okay, so they go for a Bleakwind Storm. Okay. No special defense drops. Nice. Or speed drops. We already got another Bleakwind and Snarl. Okay, let's see. We should be able to... Yep, okay, perfect. Good damage across the board. So we're basically trading the Torn for the Torn. Oh, we survive. I don't know if I like that or not. I mean, it's okay. It's not the best. Is this Urshifu coming out? If it's Urshifu coming out... No, Flutter Mane, okay. Or Dazzling Gleam. Makes sense. All right. Booster energy, speed makes a ton of sense. I am just going to go for... I don't really want to protect Torn. I just have no reason to keep the Torn around. It's not doing any damage. I think I'm just willing to sack both Pokemon here. So I'm just going to go for a Snarl and a Bleakwind. I want the free switch instead. They might switch out to Chiyu and Dazzle, but they're just going to regular Dazzle, KO both, which is fine. Their Tailwind expired, which is really good for me. I don't have my own Tailwind, which is like a shame part, but I think we're okay. I mean, the question is like, what kind of Flutter was... Wait, we see Booster... I'm all over the place that I've forgotten like what I've absorbed. I thought we saw Booster, but maybe I'm wrong. We're going to go our own Flutter Mane though, and we are going to go with our Brambleghast. Moonblast should knock out the Chiyu, unless this is Terra Fire, but I don't suspect. We do have a +1 special or +1 attack, so we should be able to knock out the Flutter Mane with Power Whip, and I think that's always my play. I am faster than Flutters. I think I do go for Moonblast into the Chiyu. I just don't know whether I go for a Terra or not. I think the problem is if it depends on like who I expect our Flutter Mane to target to. They could be a Specs variant. I think I just Power Whip and I just Moonblast to Chiyu. I think the only way I really lose here, I could Shadow Ball the Flutter, I guess, and Power Whip the Chiyu, which is also probably acceptable. But they do have Terra, and I have no idea who's Terraing. It really depends on like what this Chiyu Terra is, because I don't think it lives in Moonblast. And we are going to see the swap, so this still works out well. Okay. Regidrago, Moonblast. That's a lot of damage, so I'll gladly take that. All right. They protect Flutter, which makes sense. All right. So I am able to get a Moonblast off into Regidrago, which is really huge. Yeah, that actually just one-shots the Regidrago. So Regidrago goes down, and then I force in the Chiyu again. And because it's Snarl, I'm pretty sure it just goes down to Moonblast. So let's see. When Peter's out, I'm gonna double protect because I think they're forced to Terra here, and I want to see who they Terra with, whether it's the Chiyu or the Flutter Mane, because they saw that I was gonna Moonblast. So if they have Terra Fire, they might try to Terra Fire here. I like the idea because I have two Terra options. I have my own Fluttermane, or I have my Chi, or I have my Brambleghast. Brambleghast should be good enough, I think. I'm probably gonna Terra the Brambleghast realistically, but it really depends on, again, if this is Terra Fire or not. If it's Terra Fire though, I could probably just Shadow Sneak knock out the Chi, and I'm in a really safe spot. But let's find out together. I want to say that I KO with Shadow Sneak, and then the Fluttermane's vulnerable to Shadow Sneak as well. If they're really aggressive, they read my double protect and don't Terra, but they are going to be forced, it looks like, to Terra here. Let's see which one it is. Is it going to be Fluttermane or is it Chi-Yu? It is Fluttermane, it looks like. Terra Fairy? Terra Water, okay. That makes it easier for me, I guess. Okay, so I can Moonblast Chi-Yu very safely, it looks like. Well, double protect here. I'm gonna Terra my... I don't think the Chi is bulky. Like, it didn't take the Snarl super well. I should be able to drop it with Moonblast. Dazzling Gleam comes out. So they can't pressure the Flutter. I guess I could Shadow Sneak the Chi as well. They lock themselves in the Dark Pulse, into the Brambleghast. All right. I want to say that Moonblast KOs the Chi-Yu though at this range. And I want to go for the Terra, and I want to go for Power Whip or Shadow Sneak. I feel like Shadow Sneak twice is better. Yeah, I'm going to say Shadow Sneak is probably better. Let's see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm underestimating my calcs. I'm actually a little bit scared of these calcs overall. Like, I can believe the Flutter lives 2 Shadow Sneaks potentially. I feel like Moonblast should KO the Chi-Yu though, because I just don't see it living this. We'll find out together. Fluttermane protects, okay. We are able to get a Moonblast off into their Chi-Yu, and let's see if that's actually able to pick up the knockout. They were hoping that I double into Flutter here. Moonblast does KO the Chi-Yu, yeah. Okay, so I was right here. I think the Chi was spec, so it couldn't really do anything, and yeah. Even if they Dazzling Gleamed or Shadow Balled, I felt like I was in a pretty okay, comfortable position. Now I can Moonblast and I can Shadow Sneak. And then they can't pick up a knockout onto any of my Pokemon Dazzling Gleam. Even with crit Dazzling Gleam, Shadow Ball is not going to be enough. Moonblast is not going to be enough. Yeah, they just didn't have it out there. So do take the victory there. A little bit scary, but was able to pull through with the Fluttermane and the Brambleghast after Torn and Chi was able to open up their lead. All right, let's go over the games. In game 1, Brambleghast just walled my opponent's lead, while Iron Hands was able to weaken the 2 Pokemon for Shadow Sneak range. In game 2, Slowbro Trick Room was interesting, but I was able to stall out Trick Room turns with Brambleghast while picking up key knockouts onto the Slowbro early to prevent a Trick Room reset alongside the Enamorous. In game 3, a wild game, but still found a way out after getting unlucky from the Thunderbolt Paralysis and critical hit in the same turn. In game 4, a Torn Chi-Yu standoff, but my Speed Booster Fluttermane and Brambleghast were strong endgame cleaners. Don't sleep on Brambleghast. This thing was riding to success overall. It was able to do extremely well, tank the wind moves that have been very common in the format, from Heatran, from opposing Torns, Icy Winds, Heat Waves. All of those wind moves are very common right now in Regulation D. So no surprise that it was able to do really well. I actually really loved using this team. If you do want to try it out, the rental code is on your screen. You can check out the details of the team down below in the description alongside the creator, and subscribe to the channel for more VGC content as always.